Hello everyone. Happy New Year. It's your girl Meg and welcome to today's video that I look forward to filming every single year, and it is my Meg O Beauty Awards. Basically, we're gonna recap all the best makeup that I discovered in 2023. I turned 40 in 2023. It was a big year for me. There were a lot of discoveries. There's a lot to talk about. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll be inserting clips of me applying these products to my face. They're on my face right now, and I will also have every single thing linked below in the description box, and I'll list my shade names that I'm wearing if I forget to mention it in the video. So I don't have clips of me applying every single thing because, you know, I put it all on my face today as a full face. I just want you to be able to see these products in action as much as possible because they're such great products. I've been doing this for over 10 years. It's insane. If you look back on my blog, you'll see I've been doing yearly favorite videos for over 10 years. And in today's video, I'm gonna go strictly on makeup that I discovered this past year in 2023 that are newer to me that I thought were just like standout products. It doesn't necessarily mean that all of these products were released in 2023. It just means I discovered them this year. We're gonna go by category. I'm gonna start with some primers. Technically only one primer that I wanna chat about this year, and that is the L'Oreal Age Perfect Blurring Face Primer. And this is in like the rosy tone. I don't think the tone matters. I don't know how many tones there are. This is really great. It's a really like hydrating, but also blurring primer. It really does blur the pores a little bit, kind of reduce the texture of the look of your skin. It just really does a great job. And I feel like nobody's talking about this. I believe I discovered this through Taylor Wynn, if I remember correctly. She was saying that she really liked this primer, and I went out and grabbed it on Amazon. I haven't really seen it in many stores. It does have that silicone feel to it, but it isn't too thick feeling. It's really lightweight and hydrating feeling, but it also has that blurring effect to it. It's really nice. This is technically a liquid bronzer, but I use this kind of more in the priming step of my makeup. And this is the Physicians Formula Butter Glow Liquid Bronzer. You can use this as multiple ways, but I feel like 2023 was the year of everybody going crazy over the Drunk Elephant drops, thanks to Alex Earl mixing them with like moisturizer. And I definitely do that with this product in the summertime when I have more of a self tan and my face doesn't really match my neck very well. I feel like this is a really great product to kind of mix in with moisturizer, give yourself a glow. You can also like put it on a beauty blender and bronze with it. I just find it a little bit more difficult to work with in that aspect. I really like it in the sort of like mix it with a moisturizer, or you could even mix this with like foundations to deepen up the foundation if you wanted. So if you want to try the Drunk Elephant drops and you don't want to spend that kind of money, try this. It basically does the same exact thing for a fraction of the price. I feel like there weren't too many foundation releases of 2023. It's either that or I just wasn't excited by them, so I didn't try many new ones, but I have two very outstanding ones I want to chat about today. And the first is probably my favorite, and it is a drugstore product. This is the Maybelline Super Stay Skin Tint. I have a pump on this because I hate the dropper packaging to it. Like, it's literally the worst. I'll also link the pump below that I grabbed on Amazon. It comes in a pack of 2. It is so much better. This product honestly blew me away. I wasn't even sure what to expect with it, and I tried it, and it's this beautiful thin medium coverage consistency that has a bit of a glow to it, but it's not too dewy looking, and it sets down and it wears amazing because I'm trying this in the heat of summer. We had literally the worst summer ever, and it wore amazing in Houston. Heat and humidity over 100 degrees outside in the humidity. This held up. It's amazing. Like almost holy grail status. Like, I was so impressed with it. And then the second foundation I want to chat about for this year in 2023 that I tried and I really liked is the Haus Labs foundation. I don't believe this was a 2023 release. I don't even know if it was 2022. I'm not sure. But I tried it at the beginning of this year and I really liked it. It has a really nice satin matte medium full coverage finish. It looks beautiful. It's one of these foundations that I think is gonna wear really well for events, like satin, medium coverage. It's amazing. I love it. I know I just mentioned that I only have 2 foundations to chat about, but I have a third foundation product, but it's a powder foundation. This is the Laura Geller Baked Balance and Brighten foundation, and it is a beautiful powder foundation, and I'm not one to really like a lot of powder foundations. I'm not much of a powder foundation person, but I do really think this is probably the best one I've tried. Like, when I first tried this, I had a lot of texture. My skin was really angry, my barrier was pretty compromised, and I put it all over and it just like covered all of the texture. It didn't emphasize any pores. which is crazy for a powder. You would think putting a powder over like dry flaky patches would emphasize it, but it doesn't. It's pretty crazy the way this works. I just swirl like a buffing brush in it and buff it all over the skin. I love to use this on days where I just put a little bit of concealer on and then I just buff this all around to give my skin a little bit more evenness and like bring it to life a little bit. It does run a little dark. I have it in the shade light and I feel like I could shade down one if I wanted to, but I make it work, you know, so it's fine. It's definitely worth the hype. A lot of my Instagram community was like, can you please try this? And I tried it and I was super impressed. I have 3 concealers to chat about today. 3 concealers. One I discovered at like the very end of the year, and the other one I've been using kind of like all year, and I've actually repurchased it, and it's a $6 concealer. As you know, or as if you follow me on social media, or you saw last year's video where I mentioned the Catrice True Skin Serum something high cover concealer, the $7 one, oh my gosh, still one of my favorites, still one that I repurchased, but I tried their other concealer, which is the Liquid Camouflage, and I was blown away by it as well. It is so like lightweight, liquidy, but it's got such great pigment, it doesn't crease. The formula is freaking amazing on this, and it's $6. Like, how do they do this? It is on par with like 95% of my high-end products, and it's better than 95% of my other high-end concealers. It's just so good. I also tried the Haus Labs concealer. I tried the Mario concealer. The Mario concealer was a definite bust for me this year. The Haus Labs was pretty good. Out of the high-end concealers that I tried this year, there are 2 that really stuck out to me. The first is the Natasha Denona concealer. I discovered this at the very end of the year, and it was like a very wow, this is really nice. It's very expensive, but I find that it's the type of concealer that I really like, where it's like really thin, serum-y consistency, but high pigment, feels hydrating, but sets down. It doesn't settle really well into lines and creases. It's really nice. And then the third one, which I don't have with me up here at this studio that I'm filming at, but it's on my list and I forgot to bring it, is the Lancome Teint Idole concealer. Teint Idole. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. I'm so sorry. That one, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I bought it during Ulta's 21 Days of Beauty, and I don't think it's a new concealer by any means, but I discovered it this year and it is absolutely incredible. It reminds me so much of Catrice concealers. But so if you're kind of on the fence, like which one you should get, definitely try the Catrice concealer. But if you want to try a high-end one, the Lancome Teint Idole is definitely my favorite high-end concealer that I tried this year. Probably my top total, and this one from Catrice. So freaking good. Whatever e.l.f. has done in 2023, they continue to kill it in all of their releases. Their new correctors that they released this year, absolutely amazing. I use this peach one underneath my eyes, underneath my concealer to correct the darkness. It is probably just the best formula I've found for a corrector. For me personally, it's just like a lightweight liquidy formula, dries down, very pigmented. I don't have to use a ton of it. If I find that the foundation that I'm wearing is really yellow toned, which I feel like a lot of them run really yellow lately, I'll add a little bit of this blue corrector in to sort of neutralize it a bit. Or let's say I have a self tan or like some really bad darkness or something, I'll use this orange one. I'll also use it if I'm doing somebody else's makeup and I really need to do some heavy duty correcting or warming up a foundation. They're great. These are amazing and they're like $4 or $5. I have a few powders to chat about today. First, I'm gonna just go ahead and just rip the band-aid off because this is a super expensive powder and it's ridiculous, but it's the Givenchy Prisma Libre. This powder is freaking amazing. It has the scent to it. That's the only thing I don't care for. Some people really like the scent to it, but I mean, it's scented. It's got some fragrance to it, which I'm not crazy about. Kind of smells like an old lady perfume to me. It's the pink one that I have. They have different like color variations, but this pink one is really nice and brightening. It is smoothing and blurring. This powder blurs, baby, and it does not get cakey looking or creasy looking. I love it so much. If you're looking for a loose powder, it's super freaking expensive, so this is so good, okay? Okay, so good. Now we're going to 2 other drugstore products because you know what, I gotta balance this out a little bit. But the other loose powder that I went absolutely bananas for this year is the Milani Conceal and Perfect. I've rubbed this off. Milani Conceal and Perfect Blur Out Powder. And it is a talc-free powder, and it is seriously so blurring and so lightweight. It's just almost traceless feeling. So if you hate the feel of powder, but you feel like you need to set your makeup, please try this. I don't know how they did it, but it feels like nothing, but it's blurring. And then the last powder I want to mention is the Physicians Formula Butter Glow Translucent Powder. So what's interesting and what's unique about this powder is it reminds me a whole lot of, if you've ever tried an Hourglass ambient lighting powder, it has that same feel to it where it's like this glowy marbled baked looking powder. And you can use these in multiple ways. You know, like if you feel like your foundation or your complexion is looking too matte, you can grab a big fluffy brush and brush it all over the skin to kind of liven the complexion, or you can kind of use this like you would a highlighter, but it's just like this soft, slightly glowy powder. And I really like this for situations where I want to glow up the skin a little bit more. This is a great product for that. I'm still very ride or die for my L'Oreal powder bronzer, and then the Rare Beauty cream bronzer are just honestly the 2 products that I use still this year, and they were my favorites last year. But I did discover another cream bronzer stick that I feel like is really great for beginners, and I also think it's just the tone of it is so nice. And it is the Merit cream bronzer stick, and this is in the shade Seine, like the Seine River, and it's just a very easy to work with balmy bronzy formula. If cream bronzers tend to like overwhelm you or feel like too intimidating, try this Merit one because it's just so easy to just throw on the skin and blend out, and it doesn't ever look patchy or weird. It's just a beautiful tone, and the tone of this Seine color is just really nice and neutral. Yeah, super neutral. It's so pretty. And I feel like this is one of those products that's like, if you are scared to jump into the world of cream bronzers or bronzer sticks, you'll really like this one. I apologize if there's been like static from my microphone because I had it in a spot where my hair kept rubbing it, and I don't want to go back and film all of this. You guys will forgive me, right? So I moved the microphone in a spot that I don't think it's going to rub. This was a rookie mistake, okay? I'm getting back into my filming routine, and I'm just making some of these rookie mistakes that I'm going to be more consistent in 2024. I was definitely not consistent on YouTube in 2023. So I'm making some mistakes as I jump back in. So forgive me if there was a little bit of static on this microphone. So it's not going to happen anymore, right? We're gonna jump into blushes. I have 3 to chat about today, 2 liquid, 1 powder. The first one I wanna mention is the NYX Sweet Cheeks Cream Blush. This is a total unsung product that I don't hear very many people talking about. Taylor Margaret recommended this over on Instagram, and I grabbed it, and it's a really nice, beautiful, easy to work with formula that I feel like doesn't disrupt the makeup underneath it. You can just swipe it on, blend it out, and it's a beautiful color. The shade Baby Doll is this beautiful pink color I'm wearing today. It's gorgeous, loved it so much. Of course, I love the Rare Beauty blushes, but this was one that I feel like I consistently used throughout the entire year, and I kept going back to it. It's just a really nice one. And then the other one that I tried this year that I think it was released this year is the Revolution Blush Balm in the shade Dolly Rose. And it's another one of those doe foot, like liquid blushes that you can put on the cheek, and this one just plays really, really well with makeup, and it's just like very beginner friendly. I feel like with a lot of like liquid blushes can be very intimidating because you like put 1 dot on and it's so freaking pigmented. Rare Beauty, which I love them, but it can be intimidating. So these are definitely like beginner friendly because you just throw a little bit on. The formula is just like so easy to work with, and you blend them out and they just blend beautifully on the skin. There are no issues I've ever had with these. They don't pick up the foundation underneath it. Like, it's just a beautiful formula. And then finally, for blushes this year, I want to chat about the Milani Baked Blush. Like, this is like an oldie but a goodie, but this was this year that I got this particular shade, and it's in the shade Petal Primavera. And I feel like everybody talks about Luminoso. Like, we're always talking about Milani Luminoso. Girl, you got to move on from that shade and try Petal Primavera. It's this beautiful like pinky mauve, like neutral pinky satin finish. Like it's not too glittery, not too shimmery. It's just like this perfect satin. Nobody talks about this, and I need you all to try it because it's super affordable and it's beautiful. And I love the tone of it. It's just like a nice mauve-y rose petal pink. Now we're gonna move on to highlighters and some special glitters. The one highlighter that just truly blew me away and that I feel like I just didn't really use much else beside it was the Rare Beauty highlighter in the shade Mesmerize. It even broke and I put it back together in the pan because I loved it so much and I didn't want to go out and repurchase it. I just needed it. So mine is not very pretty. It is well loved. It is a beat up package, but this is a beautiful highlighter I am wearing today in the shade Mesmerize, which has got a bit of a pinky tone to it, but it doesn't show up super pink on the cheeks. And then the other highlighter that I really liked this year was the e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wand. So, you know, they kind of took the internet by storm releasing these wands. They have like a blush, highlight, and bronzer, and all were great products. I really liked them, but I felt like the one thing I don't care for is the packaging is just terrible, but I do really like the tone of this highlighter in the shade Rose Quartz. I just felt like this, mixing it in with like a cream blush, is just the most beautiful tone to it, and they're really beautiful on the skin. Out of the three of them, I felt like the highlighter was kind of a standout for me, but I did like all of them. They're just not all making my 2023 favorites, but if I had to pick like a favorite from that release of the blush, bronzer, and highlighter, it would definitely be the highlighter. Okay, we have to mention these two glitter products that are insane. The first one, it's a bit of a splurge, but when I tell you this adds instant amazingness to any eye look, you're gonna love it. And it's the Fenty Beauty Diamond Balm in the shade How Many Carats. I'm typically not like this where I just see a TikTok and then I run out and purchase something, but I saw this and I was like, I need this. So it's like this all over glitter veil. I use my finger, and then when you apply it to the skin, is this insanely metallic glittery finish to it. It is not something I would put on my cheek. It's something that I just use on my eyelids to give just like that extra pop of glitter. I mean, you could use it on the cheek if you were going for extra glittery, or like on the chest if you were really trying to jazz it up. But I feel like it looks best in normal use when you just pop it on the eyelid. It's insane. I feel like nobody talks about these anymore, but these e.l.f. liquid glitters are insanely good, and they are so cheap, but they're extremely glittery. And so if like you just need a nice glitter topper for something, like a nice liquid glitter, grab this. And this is the shade Disco Queen. I feel like this is a really great topper. Again, like I use this for my daughter for dance. She had to have like nice glittery look for her Christmas performance. I feel like this comes in handy a lot. The Pixie glitters are great, but this is even less expensive than that. And they're so beautiful, like just so glittery. Okay, we are down to the eye and lip category. Eyeshadow palettes haven't really been exciting me for a few years. Like I haven't been like crazy about eyeshadow palettes, but I bought these two this year and I really loved them. Natasha Denona, so like I went like expensive. Like I'm not gonna lie here and say that these are cheap because they're definitely not. Really couldn't stop using this one the majority of the year, and then this one I grabbed at the Sephora sale towards the end of the year, and I was like, this is an immediate slay. An immediate like rose to the top of one of my favorite eyeshadow palettes, and I could tell just by using it like one time, I'm like, yeah, this is me. This is totally me. But both of these are fabulous. This is the Natasha Denona Glam palette, and then this is the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. Both are amazing. If you want to create more smoky looks, to grab the Natasha Denona Glam palette. This can also be, I also love that there's a bit of a warm brown in this one, and there's some versatility with it for sure. But if you really just like soft, feminine, like cool tone neutrals, grab the I Need a Nude palette. I have this one on my eyes today. I just love it so much, but I do feel the Glam palette is so versatile. I'm not like a working makeup artist. I did a few times this year. I really found myself pulling out this Natasha Denona Glam palette for event and like pictures and photography and stuff. I feel like this does really well for that. And then this is just a nice, super feminine looking eyeshadow palette. They both very much excited me this year. So they're beautiful. So that's what I went with. So one eyeliner, this is another recommendation from Taylor Margaret. I will link her YouTube channel and Instagram below. She tested a ton of eyeliners this year and then ultimately landed on this particular one as really long wearing in the waterline and didn't smudge or crease very well. And this is the LA Girl Ultimate Eye Intense Stay Auto Liner. And it is a retractable pencil liner. I am almost out. I'm shocked it's lasted me this long. I've had it for months and months. It's like very beat up. I've even lost the bottom of them. I have it in black and in brown, and it really does stay amazing on the waterline. It doesn't budge, it doesn't move. It is a great eyeliner, and I love that it's like a retractable one. It's not one that I have to sharpen. And then there are a few mascaras I want to mention. So the one I think I used the most was the Maybelline Falsies Surreal Mascara. It is beat up. I need to get a new one. It's almost dried out. It is fabulous. It's got this like really nice, fluttery, voluminous, and lengthening formula. It just like does all the things that I like it to do. It's a little bit of a drier formula, which I like, and it just did everything, and it doesn't smudge. I'm not a very good test of whether or not mascara smudges because I have big eyes that sit further out on my head. So if you're asking me to test mascaras, I'm probably not the best test subject, but that one was a great one for me this year. And then my other drugstore one that I really loved was the e.l.f. Lash and Roll. If you really like the Benefit Roller Lash, this is a great, fantastic dupe to that. Got the curved brush, a rubber bristle wand, and it does a lot of like fluttery, it gives a nice fluttery lash. You know, that was really great for me this year. And then the two high-end ones I really liked, and this blew me away. Like, I used it so much in summer, and it is the Tower 28 Make Waves Mascara. I wore this in Disney World, and it stayed all day. Like, it was perfect. It's another one of those like rubber bristle wands, and it has a little bit of curve to it. It just gave like all the things that I like: the flutter, the volume, the length, the everything, and it is a little bit of a drier formula. It's not too wet. Loved it. This one I'm gonna need to replace soon because it's almost dried out. And then last but not least was the Tarte Tubing Mascara. At first I thought that this was too wet. Tubing mascaras tend to be a little bit of a wetter formula, which to me is kind of like hit or miss. Like sometimes I like it and sometimes I don't, but when this got a little bit more air in the tube and I used it a little bit more and it started to dry out a little bit more, I loved it. And if you are not familiar with tubing mascaras, they just wear really well. They're polymers that grab onto the lash, and they kind of, instead of a wax-based formula, they remove sort of like in little like tubes, and they just remove with warm water, but they stay on the lashes really well throughout the day. And the Tarte one for me was a really nice one this year. If you've never tried it, it's worth trying. Now we're down to the lips. We're gonna talk about 2 lip liners and a few lip products, lipstick, lip gloss situations. And the lip liner that I used probably the most this year is the NYX Lip Pencil in the shade Nude Truffle. It is like the perfect contouring lip liner you will use. It's like goes with all of my neutrals, and it gives that nice contour look to the lip. It is not exciting when you swatch these lip liners on your hand because these are all neutrals, but like when I tell you this is just so amazing, it is so amazing. Like it just looks like, okay, what is that? I'm like, just trust me, it's got a cool toned contouring vibe to it. And then the high-end lip liner that I couldn't put down this year was this one in the Makeup Forever lip pencil in the shade Wherever Walnut. And it is a little bit more warm toned, like a little bit more rosier than the NYX Nude Truffle, but it is really great, and again for neutrals, because it just is another really great contouring lip liner. So this one on the end is the NYX Nude Truffle, and right next to it is the Makeup Forever Wherever Walnut, so you can see the difference in tone. The NYX is more cool toned. It is slightly rosier, slightly peachier. And then I grabbed this, is the Endless Cacao in the Makeup Forever, and it's even more cool toned than the NYX Nude Truffle. So I'm gonna show you that next to it. The Endless Cacao I put next to the NYX Nude Truffle. You can see from coolest to warmest how different they kind of are, and like these tones. The Endless Cacao, at first I was like, wow, this is very stone gray looking, but when you pair it with like a really warm neutral lip liner, or you like, it is so nice. Like all 3 of these shades are beautiful, but if you were to pick one, kind of in between the two, is the NYX Nude Truffle. I'm wearing it today underneath the next product I'm gonna mention, which is the Rare Beauty Lip Oil. So this is kind of a confusing product to me because I don't find that it is a lip oil at all. It feels like a glossy stain to me. It is a glossy lip gloss stain. It has a little bit of a tingle to it, not much. It doesn't feel like an oil. I feel like this product description is pretty misleading. I have this in the shade Hope, and it is a beautiful product, beautiful shade, especially paired with that NYX lip liner. It's a nice pinky neutral. But again, don't buy this thinking that you're gonna get like your traditional lip oil, because it's definitely not like that at all. It's like a stain. And then the world went crazy for these YSL Candy Glaze lip gloss balm stick things. And it is really freaking nice. I am almost out. Like, I'm scared to use mine because I don't wanna run out. I'm gonna have to go get another one. It's really good. It's not like completely overhyped. And then another lip oil that I tried and loved this year. So I did try the NYX Fat Lip Drip Oil, and it was good, you know, it was fine. But then I tried this and I feel like it's so much better. And I still love the Milani ones. That's still my #1, but that was in my last year favorite, so we can't mention it again, okay? Because we're talking about this year. But I tried these this year, and this is the ColourPop Luxe Lip Oils, and I feel like nobody's talking about these as much. I am almost out of this one, but I have a few of them, and it's this like beautiful, juicy, thin consistency. I did not love the applicator on the NYX ones. I felt like it was just hard to get the product out from the doe foot onto the lips. These I really, really liked. They were good. If you want to try a really nice, affordable lip oil, that is a really good one. And then one I don't have physically in my hands, but I'll show some clips of it, is the e.l.f. O Face Satin Lipsticks. Were amazing this year. So impressed by them. The shade Dirty Talk is another great dupe to the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk shade. And a lot of people compared these to the NARS Audacious lipsticks, which I don't have, so I can't make that comparison for you. But I will say it's like this beautiful creamy matte lipstick that looks amazing on nearly everyone. It doesn't emphasize texture or lines. It's just so freaking beautiful. They're just beautiful, okay? Can you believe we are at the end of this video? I've made it through and I hadn't even taken a sip of water. I want you to leave below any of your favorite discoveries of the year that are makeup products. I want to know, because your girl has to try things, okay? Thank you guys so much for your support throughout the year. I know, again, I haven't been as active on YouTube this year. It's been sort of a weird business year for me, but in 2024, I feel like I wanna make YouTube more of a priority again, so I'm gonna be back doing more of this because I really love sitting down and just chatting and doing longer videos. It's my jam. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you are notified the next time that I do upload. So thanks for tuning in. I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.